Fani Willis's case against former President Donald Trump. A Georgia judge is now dismissing 6 charges in her election interference indictment against the former president and his former associates. Let's go live to Jonathan Seri with more details. Jonathan.
Yeah, this ruling came down this morning. Judge Scott McAfee struck down a total of 6 counts in DA Fani Willis's election interference case against former President Trump and 5 of his associates. Those associates include former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Ray Smith, Bob Cheeley, and Mark Meadows. The quash counts have to do with charges related to solicitation of violation of oath of office. The judge writes, as written, these 6 counts contain all the essential elements of the crimes, but fail to allege sufficient detail regarding the nature of their commission. Rudy Giuliani's lawyer issued this statement, quote, the quashing of these 6 counts, 3 of which were against Mayor Giuliani, was expected. There simply was not enough detail to put the defendants on notice of what to defend against.
All right. Welcome to all my free-minded friends. J.R. Dukes at your service. And this defense attorney has it exactly correct. What a fantastic development for Donald Trump and company. Out of the 6 charges, 3 of them were directly against former President Donald Trump, and they no longer exist. They are gone. They are out of here. Now, why is that? As you heard this Giuliani defense attorney just state, it boils down to fairness. It boils down to the Constitution, and it's a real simple principle. When you're charged with the crime, the prosecution has to give you, under the Constitution of the United States, they have to give you proper description, proper notice, specific notice of exactly what they are alleging that you have committed as far as a crime. They cannot use generalities or be what is called overly broad and not specific. Think of it this way. Imagine that they arrested you for murder, okay? And the indictment, all it said was, we arrest you, John Doe, Jane Doe, for murder. And they put you in prison. And they want you to prepare for trial. But you have to know who allegedly you murdered. You have to know allegedly where it happened and exactly what they plan on proving against you in a court of law. Otherwise, it is wholly unfair. So as a matter of law, the Judge Scott McAfee, did the right thing, and I applaud him for this. And there's no 2 ways to slice this. This is a fantastic day for Donald Trump and company.
Former President Trump's legal team said the judge made the correct legal decision. We should point out this ruling is separate from another high-profile issue the judge is still considering, a defense motion to have the DA disqualified from prosecuting the case because of Fani Willis's romantic relationship she had with Nathan Wade, one of the special prosecutors she hired to assist her with the case. A ruling on that issue is expected by the end of this week. Kaylee?
Thank you, Jonathan. So, Emily, I was reading a footnote. It said counts 2, 5, 6, 23, 28, and 38 are quashed, and it appears that it's for lack of specificity. So how?
Now, when you hear quash is a fancy legal term that basically means void. It's gone. It's erased. It's smashed. It's no longer going to be something that Donald Trump and or any of the other defendants can be prosecuted for.
How monumental is this in the case?
Well, the error itself is colossal. And I just want to make sure that I send the message appropriately of what a rookie mistake it is. Remember, first year in law school, you learn about the standards of pleadings. You learn how important specificity is. The same as well goes for warrants. The same as well goes for subpoenas, right? We sort of talk about that a lot. And the point is that it is fundamental. And Mayor Giuliani said it in his response right there. He said, because without it, the defendant doesn't know what to defend against. So now we know why it's so important to have that specificity. And the fact that on a pleading, which is your initial threshold step, a district attorney failed to do so, to me, just hallmarks what a rookie she is, how sloppy this whole thing has been, how utterly sort of a sham this entire procedure has been. And now she's making a mockery of not only herself, but of the courts. And I want to point out this ancillary point as well, that the overt acts that these relate to, the reason why they can still stand in the pleadings is because there's different standards. So she needed specificity to address those 6 charges, those 6 counts that were now have been quashed. But all you need to do is reference them in the pleading for the overt acts. That's why those remain. So again, a rookie. I mean, what is this, My Cousin Vinny, where it's like, look, down here, this is where we do it. That was
Folks, she is so correct and so right on this. I have been talking about this in many videos, specifically about Nathan Wade and his utter and complete incompetence. I went back and we looked in detail at the first and second hearing that was broadcast worldwide pertaining to Nathan Wade and just how incompetent this individual was. The judge was absolutely stunned as he was looking at the prosecution, trying to figure out what is this guy talking about. So it is no surprise that this indictment itself is imploding and it's falling apart one piece at a time. And the fact that his boss / lover, the paramour, whatever you want to call her, the fact that she is now shown to be incompetent does not surprise me at all. I've been saying all along she's incompetent. The entire office staff is incompetent. No wonder why Attorney Anna Cross apparently has resigned from the DA's office. Who wants to be associated with this circus? It is a travesty. It's an abuse of prosecutorial discretion. It is an abomination. And I seriously hope that sweet Fani, Nathan Wade and company are held to give an account for this outrageous behavior.
was her own courts. And then just a quick X's and O's point. These are the options, by the way. So we reindict, they reindict the individuals with more details provided, right? Essentially, like you meet the requirements. Or she could appeal the ruling, and the judge has said that he would let that appeal go through because he also has the choice of waiting to the end of the trial. So that remains to be seen what happens next.
And Jonathan,
And if she chooses to appeal the ruling, that really is good news for Donald Trump when you get right down to it, and his other defendants, because if the judge allows what's called an interlocutory appeal of the judge's ruling, that's great news for Donald Trump because it is more delay in this entire fiasco. Anything that delays the trial is good for Donald Trump and defendants. I have said many times, and I'll say it again, when you are facing a serious criminal matter, even a civil matter, you don't really want an attorney at law, you want an attorney at stall.
Turley mentioned you could have superseding indictments, but that would all mean delay. So interesting decision making for Fani Willis here.
Well, look, Tom Dupree, former federal prosecutor, told me last hour this is a win for Donald Trump and the defendants because three of those dropped charges were against Donald Trump. So what's interesting about that is he's been racking up those wins, and they may seem like they're small, but it's eating into the narrative that the left has had that the indictments will slow him down and that he won't be able to run. Well, now they are both presumptive nominees, Biden and Trump. And that isn't working out quite the way they saw it. Now, he does have some court dates coming up, and let's not be, shy about the fact that it could get bumpy for him. It could get bumpier for Biden with the border rather. So it's going to be interesting. But how this plays a role today is a victory for Trump and those defendants. It's another kind of check in the boxes down the line for those defending President Trump, because Fani Willis has turned out to be more drama outside the courtroom than in.
And we all look forward to seeing Judge McAfee's decision, which could come any time up until Friday. He said
that's exactly correct. The Judge McAfee, is currently considering this case, and we should have a decision fairly quickly. I predict, I'm going on record right now, so everybody can look back at this recording once the decision is handed down, based on this dismissing of these 6 charges, 3 directly pertaining to President Trump. I feel very confident that the judge is going to go ahead and remove Prosecutor Willis, Nathan Wade, and the entire DA's office off of this case. One way or the other, it really doesn't matter because this case is dead, as I have been saying. So we are on judge watch. It's not quite a verdict. It's more like a decision watch. So we're on decision watch. I anticipate very soon, hopefully by tomorrow at the latest, the end of this week, we are going to have a decision by the judge, and hopefully it's the right decision. But either way, a great day for Donald Trump. There's no other 2 ways to slice this up, folks. Hey, if you're still with me, might as well hit the thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe so you catch my videos when they come out, and you also know when I go live. I always say, friends, keep that mind free and never give up. And until next time, I am J.R. Dukes.